So many people, they come in fear to love. Just the normal stuff. Sorry. This is it.
This is it.
After it, well, I'll come back, but I'm out the door straight after this. It's a new one. But I still, it's not that I don't want to come and see your program. I encourage people. Sure. Yeah. No, I'm coming. That's it. But one of these days it's going to happen. This thing is too short. Yay. So. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopidanavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopidanavallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Rajadanarandana Yasodhanandana Rajananarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Gayara Namadava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto, Chapter 12, Ritasura's Glorious Death, text number 17. Pranaglahoyam samara Ikshvaksho vahanasana Atrana gyayate musya Jayo musya parajaya. Pranaglahoyam samara Ishvakso vahanasana Atrana gyayate musya Jayo musya parajaya. Ladies. Pranaglaha. Life is the stake. Ayam this samaraha, battle, ishu akshaha, the arrows are the dice, vahana asranaha, the carriers such as the horses and elephants, are the game board. Atra, here, in this gambling match. Na, not. Gyayate is known. Amusya, of that one. Jaya, victory. Amusya, of that one. Parajaya, defeat. Translation: O my enemy, consider this battle a gambling match in which our lives are the stakes, the arrows are the dice, and the animals acting as carriers are the game board. No one can understand who will be defeated and who will be victorious. It all depends on providence. No purport. Next verse. Text 18. Sisuku vacha indro vrita vacha srutva gatalikam upajayat grihita vachra prahasham stam agata vismaya. Translation: Sukadev Goswami said, hearing the straightforward, instructive words of Ritasura, King Indra praised him and again took the thunderbolt in his hand. Without bewilderment or duplicity, he then smiled and spoke to Ritasura as follows. Purport. King Indra, the greatest of the demigods, was astonished to hear the instructions of Ritasura, who was supposed to be a demon. He was struck with wonder that a demon could speak so intelligently. Then he remembered great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, who had been born in the family of demons, and thus he came to his senses. Even so-called demons have exalted devotion for the Supreme Personality of God. Even so-called demons sometimes have exalted devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore Indra smiled reassuringly at Vritasura. Om Jnana-timirandasya Kyanandana Salakaya Shakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Indra and Vritasura are assembled on the battlefield, and Indra is fighting out of righteousness. He's the upholder of Dharma. So Indra is fighting in a Kshatriya spirit. He is basically as that spirit that somehow or other one has to fight to protect the interest of Dharma. And of course, he was also reaping the fruits of his piety, which he was attached to. But Indra had that Kshatriya spirit. Normally, demons are motivated by envy in a fight. But Vritasura was not fighting in that spirit of an envious person. Vritasura was fighting in the spirit of a Kshatriya. And it's a different mood, although both are going into the fight in like, you know, for death, right? Like victory or death. And I read the other day how one man cut the head of a rattlesnake and then about 10 minutes later, he wanted to clean it up, and then that head bit him. Because the envy of that snake was so intense, just stayed in the head, still there, like waiting. That living entity didn't leave, and stayed there. So it was something, yeah. So that illustrates like how normally a demon would be driven in the fight. But Vritasura showed that he was not driven in this way. He was very dharmic, and he was completely detached and comparing the whole battle to a gambling match, and saying it all depends on the Supreme Lord, and as he desires, in that spirit, an interesting combination of complete attachment, fighting with complete attachment, and simultaneously detachment in terms of the bigger picture. In the smaller situation, acting very attached, right? Like give it your everything, and in the bigger picture, it's up to the Supreme Lord. So that is there. The Kshatriya spirit is sometimes difficult to understand. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, Arjuna makes sense when he says, like, why go to battle? Why kill everybody? Why kill my family members? Why kill the elders? What will become of society? You listen to the arguments in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and they sound very reasonable and contemporary, right? Really, they do. The idea of like going out there and killing your grandfather in some fight, I mean, all of us would say, forget it. I throw down my bow here, as Arjuna did. So in the first part of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna looks okay, but in the later part, he lost it. He went after his grandfather. One could look at it like that. Anyway, so the situation here is kind of the same. Vritasura is just there as a matter of duty, ready to fight, to kill. That's Kshatriya, just go and fight. And Indra was a little attached. He was attached, so he was calculating. He was thinking, but, what's the point of picking a fight when you're not sure you're going to win? If it's a fight you're going to lose, you might as well, maybe you should run, as an option. So Indra was considering, due to his attachment, he was hesitant in the fight. And it took Vritasura to convince him. He convinced, no, you can do it. You can. Your weapon is powerful. You can actually kill me. And after all, it's not so sure. Victory depends on the Supreme Lord. And of course, what Vritasura did not say is that by destiny, Indra was destined to win, because the Lord upholds the order of the universe. And Indra, due to his piety, had attained that position. And that was not just that he had performed 100 Asvamedha Yagyas and therefore had earned the reward. It was rather because of his extreme pious mentality that he was the ruler of the universe. Of course, when I say things like that, you go, Indra, extreme pious, but sometimes, sometimes he wants to drown the residents of Vrindavan, kill them all, and other times, right, he kills, he kills his spiritual master after he definitely does a few things that are a little intense. But we have to see these things in the bigger context, in the context of Indra being extremely pious and yet being extremely powerful. So when you are extremely powerful, then, then sometimes you step over the line a little, and that is to be expected from a powerful personality. That's looked upon in a different way. So Indra is so powerful, and then suddenly this Krishna and so on is interfering with this whole thing and with the yajna, and then Nanda Maharaj listens to him, and that is too outrageous. So, all right, he misuses his power. That can occur at times, but over a whole, Indra is just dedicated to Dharma. And therefore Indra is meant to be in that position. These little things are overlooked. Just recently I was spending time in Radhadesh, and I was every day lecturing on Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj, and Sukracharya, and then you get this situation. In the Vamana Purana, it's described how when Sukracharya was instructing Bali Maharaj, don't give, because he's going to take everything, that then Bali decided to ignore his spiritual master, and then to make his vow complete, he was going to pour some water from a water pot, which, is a Vedic ritual. And then Sukracharya made himself small, and entered into the spout of that water pot and blocked it. This is Vamana Purana. And then Vamana sort of looked at it, and with a straw he started poking. And then Sukracharya lost one eye. And so he was one-eyed. Later, so Sukracharya did get a reaction for giving a wrong instruction. Right? He did. But then later, after the whole thing was over, there was a discussion between the Lord and Sukracharya. And even before that discussion, Sukracharya's eye was already restored. And then they had a peaceful discussion, and then the Lord said to Sukracharya, he said, on what basis did you actually instruct him not to give? On what shastric basis? Do you have any foundation? Well, no, not really. No. Well, yeah, it was actually, it was a mistake. Okay, and that was it. And he was reinstated, basically. There was a discussion, straightened out, right? Because, again, Sukracharya was, can look like, my God, Sukracharya almost has fangs, he's like the fallen guru who instructed Bali Maharaj in the wrong way. No, he was like one of the most pious personalities in the universe, but with material attachment. And therefore, his correction was relatively, there was a little poke. But he got his eye back, and after a little discussion, and then he was back. So in this way, we're dealing with these kind of personalities when we're speaking about Indra. And so there's a lot of dharma involved in this whole thing, in this whole situation. But in the end, somebody's got to die. That's it. This whole kshatriya thing, right? We're fighting till death, and somebody's got to die. I mean, that, we would say, come on, what's the point of all this fighting? Let's just but no. That was the culture. And because dharma cannot be compromised. There's no such thing as, we'll adjust it for practical reasons. No. That was not the case. We'll make some adjustment, you're a demon, you can have one corner, I'll have one corner, and we'll peacefully coexist. No, there was no room for Vritasura in the universe. He was too powerful. He was too powerful. Maybe he was internally a devotee, but externally too much a demon. Too much a demon. So he could not be accommodated. So there had to be a fight. In this way, because it's awkward, at this stage, Indra begins to recognize that Vritasura is a devotee. And he goes on in the next verses, one after another, completely recognizing he's a devotee. And still he's ready to kill him. Which is like, kind of. That's why I get into this Kshatriya Dharma so much in this talk, because it's sort of astounding. It's a bit astounding. When we would sort of, some gorilla in the street is sort of ready to cause trouble, and then he says Hare Krishna. Okay, after that you sort of treat him a little different normally, isn't it? We sort of, oh, Hare Krishna. Oh, you're a devotee. Kind of thing. But there was nothing like that in this situation. It wasn't from, oh, you're a devotee. Yeah, you're a devotee. Okay, let's carry on. Somebody's going to kill somebody here. So that can only be understood from this Kshatriya Dharma perspective. It's just not possible to fully understand it. So, although we have earlier on discussed how Vritasura is a role model in one sense, in another sense we are different. When we look at role models in the Bhagavatam, it's sometimes difficult. Like you have Bhishmadev, and he is lying on a bed of arrows, 100 of them. Well, I'll tell you, nowadays it's bullets, but I tell you, generally speaking, one bullet is enough. I can tell you that from from practical experience. One bullet is enough, really. At that point, we are no longer composed. We're not going to be like Bhishmadev, lying there ready to give instructions to Yudhisthira. We're ready for the ambulance, as quick as possible, right? That's the situation. Bhima is as strong as 10,000 elephants. That puts Spider-Man somewhere like, who's he, in compare? Bhima can knock a train off the rails with 10,000 elephants. So they are almost mythological personalities. Priyavrata doesn't like it that it gets dark at night, and Priyavrata then arranges for a chariot which is as effulgent as the one of the sun god, and he just follows the path of the sun and arranges that it's light 24 hours a day. I guess he wasn't into sleeping. But whatever was... And then the wheels of his chariot cut the continents, the land mass, into 7 pieces. This reeks of mythology in many ways, if we hear these stories. But it's rather the opposite, right? Mythology, if you read about it, you read how people who didn't have any real scientific knowledge of their environment, they tried to find ways to explain the functioning of universal affairs. So, like in Greek mythology, you get stories that explain why the seasons are happening. The daughter of summer married the god of the underworld. She was very attached to both her mother and to her husband. So she would spend time with both, and when she spends time with the husband, the mother goes in separation, then the whole world goes into autumn and to winter, and then as she's soon to return to her mother, then spring comes, right? And then summer when she's with her mother. A story to explain mythology. But rather, these mythological stories are reflections of reality. That initially in the universe there are very powerful personalities, and in higher regions of the universe, very powerful personalities who can, who have great influence in the universe. So this narrative is happening there in higher regions. It is happening. It's with beings who are very, very powerful, and so therefore, Vritasura had been invoked from a sacrificial fire for a particular purpose, to kill Indra, and that was it. And it was by a Brahminical arrangement that he was meant to be the enemy of Indra, who would kill Indra. But there was, in the yajna, there was one mistake made. One syllable was pronounced long instead of short, and the result was the meaning changed to one who would be killed by Indra. So destiny had to occur, and in this way, because the Lord upholds the words of the Brahmanas. That is there. I like that. Prabhupada gives a lecture, and he explains in how Lord Brahma gave all these benedictions to Hiranyakasipu, and not inside, not outside, not in the day, not in the night, not in the air, not on the ground, the whole list. And the Lord upheld it. He upheld it, of course, in a very smart way. And Prabhupada says that the way, it said, this is the nature of the Lord. Whatever the saintly person says, the Lord will uphold. And Prabhupada says, so, therefore, if the saintly person says, you chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles, and you'll go back to Godhead, then you must go. You must go. So, that's another element in here, the word of the Brahmana, in this particular pastime. And that element, the word of the saintly personality, that is in our life also, and that changes our whole destiny. We who are not strong, we who are spiritually not performing so well, have that particular, the word of Prabhupada. If you chant 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, go back to God. Then, on the strength of that, it's got to happen, Prabhupada says. So that is another comparison in the where we look at Vritasura's and Indra's battle, look at our own life, then look at how one is relevant to the other. And then we can see that this element of the word of a personality who is much greater is ultimately going to have a great impact on the outcome. All we have to do, chant the 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles faithfully. Actually, that's really enough. Actually, yeah. Time's up. Yep.
Hey Maharaj, I'm curious. Indra's initially astonished to see that a demon can speak so nicely, and then Prabhupada's writing that he then smiles and he remembers Prahlad Maharaj and then Bali Maharaj. And yes, demons can also be devotees. It's interesting for me, like Bali Maharaj and Vitrasura, there were demons in behavior also. Prahlad Maharaj is a little bit like an anomaly because he was like saintly his whole life. so on, and devotion. Whereas here it's like devotion can be independent of this sort of entanglement with the emotional nature,
Okay.
these pastimes.
Right.
I was kind of wondering about the implications of this theology as we look into the future of our preaching, where people are becoming increasingly demonic, and the people we're going to be preaching to will be demons. And it seems that they may even maintain some demonic behavior and still can be devotees, and how that might impact our community's understanding of this and so on.
Okay. Yeah, first Vitasura in Bali, just a short comment. Vitasura, of course, appeared for a particular function to kill Indra from the yagya and didn't do very much before that. Bali has a whole history of performing austerities, of conquering, getting a chair, first being defeated, dies, is revived by Sukracharya, big yagya, gets a super chariot, and with that, boom, conquers the heavenly planets and so on. And then when he's there, he does 100 Aswamedha yagyas as well to keep the posts. So everything, all arranged with Sukracharya. Anyway, so that's a longer story. There's a lot more there. So he has a more demoniac history than Vritasura. Anyway, your point that we're going to deal more and more with demons. Yes, initially, the Sankirtan movement is not exactly the same as the Vedic movement. The Vedic movement is a movement of refined transformation, bit by bit, and everything has to be in the mode of goodness and anchored down, and every little habit has to change, and so on. In the Sankirtan movement, the main thing is the holy name. Right? That is the first and foremost means of transformation. Anybody, demoniac behavior or not, chanting the holy name is making progress and so on. Then we see that Prabhupada is the one who nailed down 4 regulative principles. It was never exactly defined in that way. It was more culturally understood. Right? But Prabhupada spelled it out and drew it from the moment where Kali enters the kingdom of Maharaj Pariksit, and where basically the place where Kali can stay. Right? The 4 pillars of Adharma. Then, okay, the 4 so to counteract the influence of Kali, right, Prabhupada demanded these 4 regulative principles. Because if you look at that, the influence of Kali in the Mahabharata, there's the story of King Nala, who was in Dwapara Yuga, and somehow or other there was a Swayamvar, and Indra came, and Indra wanted Damayanti, and so but actually not only Indra, Surya and Agni as well wanted Damayanti, but she wanted Nala, and there was a bit of a competition and the whole story, and he crossed Indra. Now Indra was ready to forget it because he said, the girl wanted him, let it go. But then Kali, lowest of the celestials, came and said, this Nala, he competed with you. So, the girl wanted him. He said, yeah, but you should have stepped aside. He should have stepped aside. So then Kali was allowed to punish him. And what Kali did is Kali possessed him. He possessed him. He found some entrance point, a moment of neglect in his dharmic duties, entered and possessed him. And while he was possessed, Nala was making choices and decisions that he thought were his own, but that were driven by Kali. So this is how it works. So the people are possessed by Kali. Right? So society is getting more demonic. People are controlled by Kali, and they don't even know it. Therefore, the 4 regulative principles are essential, right, to get people to rise above this influence of Kali. So anyone can chant Hare Krishna and make advances. Anyone can take prasad, anyone can do some devotional service. They're making advancements, very good. But at one point, we got to start talking about the four regs and bring them in. Right? And so those things, they stand now like pillars. Prabhupada established them like pillars, and that stands in Kali Yuga, because in that way the influence of Kali goes, and that way the demoniac mentality can transform fully into devotee identity. Anyway, and for the rest, bridge. We can bridge in so many ways in our preaching, as long as there is a pure core, as long as the pure core remains. Too much bridging and no more tradition, no more basic principles, then we water it down. So sooner or later, 16 rounds, four regs have to be at the core of things. And then Bhagavatam and everything else. Adi Purush. Slightly louder. Ah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That brings two things to mind, like Dira, Jana, Priya Karo, right? That the 6 Goswamis were dear to the gentle and the ruffians. That's one. And another one is Sarva Maha Gunagan, Vaishnava Sarira, Krishna Gun, Krishna Gan, Sakala Sanchari, which means that all the good qualities of Krishna will manifest in the body of a Vaishnava. So gradually a Vaishnava, because of his service to Krishna, begins to develop the qualities of Krishna to a degree, therefore really becomes a living representative of Krishna, and therefore becomes attractive like Krishna. Just like Prabhupada, just wherever he was, that was clearly the center of the world, wherever it was, whether it was here or whether it was in Gainesville in the sticks, right? It didn't matter where he was. That's where was the center of the universe, because the devotee takes the qualities of Krishna. Yeah, it's pure devotion that's gonna make the difference. Strategy is nice, but purity is the force. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai.
Saranam Kandar Agong Ikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Andani Asa Sakalen Priya Vriti Manti Asyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Maya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarma Bando Mui Savadhana Mate
बंदो मुई सावधान माते यहारा प्रसादे भाई ए भव तोरिया यहारा प्रसादे भाई भव तोरिया कृष्णा प्राप्ति हो कृष्णा प्राप्ति होया है ते गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्या चिते ते कोरिया क्या आरना कोरी हो माने आशा आरना कोरी हो माने आशा गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशायते प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश তোমার চরিত